week 2 recap. Oh, we have Svarho here. So someone is here. Yes, this is the week 2 recap of the top 3 divisions of Gman. Today I'm only joined by InfinitePink because Viking Copy was not available, and there was a very weird Sophie's Choice moment yesterday when we decided are we doing it today for InfinitePink or yesterday for Viking Cop. And InfinitePink was very selfish and decided we do it today.
Yeah, just thinking about myself. So yeah, just us two today. Just crack on, I reckon.
Yep. We're going today. We're doing it a little bit weird because it's Division 2's week, so we're doing 3-1-2 because we want the Division 2 to finish with. So
Yeah.
Division 3. Those games on the day 3 didn't happen. They are fake.
It's all a lie. Don't pay any attention.
Yeah. To begin with, we had Random Boy lose to the Underworld. That was a very harsh match. Did you watch it?
I didn't. I did talk to him a bit about it afterwards because we're in the same clan together. So I do know a bit about it. But I'd have to be honest. I was quite surprised by that result. I thought that Bloodsuckers would have a bit of an advantage there overall. But
Yeah, it was a very weird game. I casted it on Haringzord's stream.
Mhm.
And like the first half was pretty much Random Boy rolling all the ones, especially on Bloodlust. He had like even by the end, 74% of Bloodlust succeeded, so 26% failure. He had like moments where he Bloodlust, rolls the pro, makes the pro, and fails the Bloodlust again. And it was like, and lots of one on dodges. It was a very hard first half. And he tried to pull the second half, but he just got too much damage and not enough things worked for him. And like it was a very weird, messy game for him.
I think he mentioned that he might have been able to like draw the game or something, but there was a fairly low odds sack against him as well. I don't know. Mentioned something about that.
Oh, there was like the first half was very messy, and I believe it was his receiving half. So he got sacked by a one dice in the end, I believe, and like he didn't have thralls. Like you end the half, you have like one thrall and 4 vampires, and you don't know what you're going to do next turn.
Yeah, I mean vampires are a bit like that, aren't they? They work. They're kind of god mode, but they can collapse in upon themselves a lot of the time as well. So. Their own worst enemy.
Yeah, definitely a match to look into. It was casted by Haringzord on one of the something Night Rebels. I don't remember which day it was. I think Monday. I would definitely look it up because it was an interesting match, even though it was very unlucky for poor old Random Boy. But if you didn't like him in the playoffs, now you can see him fail.
Something good for everyone.
Yeah. So for the next match, we had a draw between the Proelves and the Amazons. Two pretty strong teams in this division from last week. Like a draw makes sense because the Proelves are nonsense, but the Amazons have so much blodge against no dodge, and they had the tools to just not lose this, I think.
So I'm gonna look at the teams now. Yeah.
I
mean,
blodge.
I'm one of those people. I'm not like the biggest fan of what is it, Pro Elves anyway. So I probably would have had my money on the Amazons here, but like it was probably quite a fun game to watch with the two scores on either side.
Also, there is a Movement 10 AG5 guy now, and like this is like non-related, but I'm still going to go to it because it reminds me a different elf player from Division 1 known as Juan Ganjen, which was Movement 10 AG6 for a while, and then Viking Cop saved us.
That just shouldn't be allowed, really.
Like,
come on.
We are going that way, and I don't like it. Kill it, please, now, quickly.
Yeah, it has to be said, the elves have some pretty pretty ridiculous players
This
here.
team
So
is ridiculous.
my normal assessment of not really liking Pro Owls may not really apply in this
Well, how
case.
would you rate elf teams? Which, like, between the four elves?
I think I'd say probably. I think for across like all team values, I'd have to rate Dark Elf and Wood Elves the highest probably. Um, Obviously, High Elves can get pretty ridiculous at high team value, but I don't see them getting there all too often. But I have to be honest, I'm not a massive Elf coach either, so I'm probably not the best person
Well,
to ask.
pro elves are. I wouldn't say they're the strongest elf, but they are definitely my favorite. I usually coach Dark Elf better because they are more bash-like, but I really like Pro Elves, and I think High Elves are stupid.
I have to, yeah, I don't like the kind of the feel of the high elves purely from a kind of like aesthetic standpoint. I just don't really like the
Oh,
way their models look and all that kind of stuff.
well,
So
if we go by that logic, Pro Elves always win because David Bowie Elf.
yeah, they
Nothing
do look.
beats the David
Yeah,
Bowie Elf.
I have to say they do look pretty badass. So. And I have, I've had some conversations with some people about this that really like the catchers on the pro elves. Having the strength 3 catchers is quite nice. But I don't know. I think the other elves can just do stuff better generally.
Well, I just really like starting with 3 rerolls on elves without giving up on positionals.
Mm.
Like, that's what makes the team for me. But that's like a completely different reasoning.
Yeah, and in fairness, that's something I wouldn't have picked up on. Like I said, I'm not really
Yep.
an elf coach, so I wasn't even aware of that, to be perfectly honest. So they've got a bit of a better start by the sounds of it.
So next round, next match, we had Sean Skaven versus the Revolutionary Corpses, the weird Camry team with the Strength 6 Agi 2 Tomb Guardian.
Yeah, the ball handling Tomb Guardian.
Yeah.
Did he score any touchdowns? That's the question.
Ooh, wow. It seems like Sean brought the pain. I think we expected
Oh,
Sean
it's
Man
1-0 for this game.
to do well because his team is nasty, but I expected more Dead Rats. Let's see. I saw Death, so we're going to try and figure out if it's someone important. And no, it's not someone important, so we don't care. It's a line rat. They can die. So yeah, Sean Man taking a win. That puts. Well, we look at the leaderboard later. Fourth match, we had Rebel Deluxe, the human team, against the Three Musketeers, the other Skaven team. And the Skaven took it.
Good week for Skaven.
Seems like the Skaven definitely won the Bash War. And as humans, if you lose the Bash War to an Argic team, you're not going to do much. I don't think we expected that, because the human team is very nasty.
Quite look at them.
It's Brutal Deluxe, and they have quite a developed team.
Yeah, definitely. Decent amount of got a couple of good mighty bow tackle pieces piling on one of them as well. Quite a bit of guard as well, which is something I think Skaven can kind of struggle playing against. They get outstrengthed quite easily. Yeah, I'd say actually humans are probably one of the harder matchups for Skaven, in that they can get outstrengthed quite easily with all the guard that humans can bring to the table, and it's a fairly fast team as well. With the catchers and the blitzers, so they can kind of keep up with the Skaven. So I think they did well to get the win there, I'd say.
We passed you random, yeah. I will agree that humans is tough for Skaven because they still outbash you, but they can also chase the gutter runner, something that orcs have a tougher time dealing with because of the difference between movement 6 to movement 7 on the killers.
Yeah, so like the last game we looked at with the Skaven versus the Khemri, I generally put my money on the Skaven there, even if they take some damage, like they're just going to run around. the Gman team a lot of the time, I find. But it's a lot harder to do that against a team like Human.
Yeah, they're just fast enough to keep up with you.
Yeah.
For the
So
fifth match, we had the absolute disaster winning against Ceramol. I believe it's Thomas T. We expected this one. I watched the match
yeah,
and like Ceramol was unable to do damage or anything. He had a bit of bad dice as well, and just like Nergal isn't developed, Dark Elf is developed. Now, like Dark Elf just to win.
yeah, for sure. I mean, I would have always put the money on the Dark Elves here. Really, the only thing that I was kind of making me think about it a bit more was just how well Ceramol did last season. I was really surprised how well he did. So I've kind of got it in the back of my mind, never to kind of never to count him out. And he does have a couple of tackle there, but yeah, I think it was always going to be a really tough match for him. So he shouldn't feel too bad about losing that, I don't think.
No. He went. I watched him stream the match. Actually, no. I think I streamed it with Haringzord because he didn't stream the match. And like, I know that he came into it for SPP, and he didn't really get it, but he definitely tried. And the MVP on the Nergal Warrior is good. Like, he, even with Thermal being such a good coach, you need to remember that everyone in this division pretty much qualified to playoffs or finished like third last
Yeah,
season.
that's true. Yeah.
So like everyone is a top tier coach. That's why like covering the top 3 divisions is always nice because you know you can expect from everyone a very high level of play.
hmm
Yeah,
So
so
yeah, not a big surprise there though, really.
yeah, this is definitely a development season for Thermal. He would love to get some wins, but I don't think he's expecting that too much. So yeah,
Yeah, probably not.
for the next match we had the Killy Murder Bash Chaos team against Drop Dead Gorgeous, a pretty good Neko team. This is another one we got on the stream with Haringzord, and this was just like Chaos killing everything, so life was bad.
Yeah, I think if I'm honest, I did actually tentatively put my money on the Necro here, just because they had so much
Yeah,
guard. But I think we did say, you know, with the mighty blow that the Necro has, like if they do manage to get their removals, and then it could kind of spiral. So I don't know. Did you watch the game?
yeah, I watched just a bit of it, and like it went to the point where you're happy that zombies regen, because that means more people to hit next drive. And
Yeah, yeah.
like he just punched the
Just get more
Necro,
SPP.
stole the ball, scored, and then scored again on his drive for a 2-0 victory, which just completely destroying the round.
Yeah, well, good for him. Did you get much experience that game? Do you
Uh, well,
know?
yes. The answer is just like yes.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Nice, good
That
stuff.
for the last match we had a very extreme result. We had the 5-0 Andy brought to poor Bainsy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, Bainesy's going to have a really tough season anyway. We said
Like
this right at the start, but
both of
I
them
wouldn't have.
got quite a lot of blocks on each other, but just Baines is AV7 and he doesn't have enough things to either bring him more blocks or he doesn't even have the mighty blow advantage to put some leverage to actually like turn the block number in his favor. So eventually AV7 explode and he just lost it. And like Andy
And
just once the team breaks, he just score and score and score, and they are too slow. They have one guy that is good.
yeah, and I know from like watching Andy stream sometimes and stuff that when he can, he will really push it. Um, to get as many touchdowns as he can, get that SBP, get people leveling up as quickly as possible. So I imagine that he, as soon as he started getting ahead, he was really thinking about just running it in as much as possible. It's clearly worked out.
Yeah, a thing that makes
uh,
me happy to see is that now Bainsy has a new Yeti. We have Betty the Yeti Junior, which is nice. The
Yeah,
comeback
'cause
is real.
yeah, that was one scary Yeti. So let's hope we can have
A better one.
another one here. Yeah.
Well, Betty Yeti was amazing, but she never rolled doubles. So you can definitely outdo her.
Yeah. Just managed to get to a high level, which don't always get, but yeah, definitely could have something a bit more special here from their protege.
Yep. So that was the last round. We look a little bit on the leaderboard. We have three players in 2-0. We have Andy Davo and the Dark Elves, Steve and his Murder Chaos, and Thomas T with his Dark Elf. Dark Elf doing really well here.
Yeah. And the Murder Chaos, which I have to be honest, at the start of the season I might have predicted them being in the lower half, so really doing a really good job there.
Yep, and we do have some people with like 1-1-0. It's still the start of the season, really. Definitely everyone, at least in the top 5, are going to be scary. But like, even if you are like 1-0-0-3 and you just, because you played your third week game and lost it because you deserve it for playing your week 3 game early.
Well, no, I mean that means that the other guy played a week 3 game earlier, won, right? So, um,
Is
I
there
mean
any
at
way
this
to
point,
give
let's be
both
honest.
sides a loss? Like just like
Admins
everyone
can do.
died, you just play with loners for the rest of the season. Blood God wins.
No, Nuffle's the only one that wins this game.
That,
Um, I would say ultimately, like anyone could still do really well. Like even if you are down at the bottom 0-0-3, you could you could in theory still come top of the table. Like at this point, anything could happen. So just making it a little bit harder, more of a challenge, a better storyline.
yeah, I would say hello to Carlos Ibs, which joined us in chat, which is nice. Do you want to just do a quick look into next week? Just a very fast one. We have High Elves versus Underworld. I'm assuming we are going to agree quickly that the High Elves are stupid and are going to win this.
Probably. I mean, I have to be honest. Against most matchups, I would probably have to bet against the Underworld. But you know, I think I said something similar last week, and they came out with the win. So you never know there. And you know, it kind of goes a bit of a toss up with a lot of Underworld teams, I think, because they do have the potential to do a lot of damage themselves. Um, you know, obviously they're going to take a lot of damage a lot of the time, but they really can dish it out. So if they manage to get things rolling early on in the game, I think they can do pretty well. And he's got this strength 3 horns
Gobo.
goblins.
Yeah, that's a good goblin. Yeah.
With like, you know, half decent dice that can kind of do anything really.
Well, like the thing is, there is a movement 10 Agi5 guy, and like an Agi5 leap guy, and they too can do within enough good dice anything.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
I think the elves do it better because they are faster and elves, but maybe.
Yeah, I think, you know, for the Underworld to win, they need to get some damage in early. So their Mighty Blow, Claw, Tackle, Blitzer needs to really get some work in, I'd say.
I don't remember your match, Random Boy. Stop complaining.
Came too late, mate.
Too late.
Too slow.
If you don't come on time, it's practically like it's like you're not here anymore. And you played your this week match, so we ignore you again. And we go to the Amazons versus the humans. Now, for this one, I would like to know how much tackle the humans have. They have 2 tackle. I think they can take this, even though the Amazon team is insane. I just want Amazons to die mostly because I don't like them, but it's not going to be an easy one.
I mean, the humans have got a little bit more tackle, not tackle, sorry, a little bit more guard by the looks of it, which is going to help because they've all got pretty similar strength. They got a bit more mighty blow and a couple of tackle. I think they got a pretty good chance there. But then I'd have to agree that I'm probably one of those people that if Amazons are playing against a team which do have at least a few tackle, I'm probably going to end up playing against them most of the time.
I just don't like
That
the
might just be my
Amazons.
personal kind of.
Like
Yeah, not
as a
bad.
guy who plays lizards quite a bit, I just hate Amazons. I just really hate them. Like they're such an annoying race. They should just all explode.
We need to like settle it once and for all. Like, what the most annoying race to play against is, like dwarves or Amazons.
Well, it depends on what you play, but the answer is both of them. So yeah,
Or
for the
is there a mixed team which has dwarves and Amazons on them?
let me check.
'Cause that
We're
would be.
checking this is completely pointless, but we're checking it. No, no, no. Which teams do have Amazons?
There's like
Here are
a kind of
Amazons.
there's like a human type team maybe that
Yeah.
has dwarves on it. I
The
don't know.
Anti-Fair Society, the humans. No, there are two with Amazons and they don't have dwarves. So with
They do have Norse, which are kind of.
yeah, but Norse are different. Norse are fun. I like Norse.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Oh
So
well, so no super cancer mixed team there then.
yes, you play Chovsken. You don't have a say in this. You're part of the cancer.
Plays kind of like half dwarf.
Same thing, if you ask me. Yep. So for the next match, we have the primetime nibblers between Sean Man versus Thomas T and his Dark Elf. This is an interesting one because both of them have amazing teams, and it's the classic Elf versus Skaven. Like this is an incredible Dark Elf team. Solman missing lineman, but still has four very strong gutter runners and a good storm vermin. He is missing a storm vermin with mighty blow claw tackle, which is going to hurt, but he's going to get like a mountain of inducements. I'm not sure about this one.
I mean, Skaven with inducements can do anything pretty much. How many actual players have we got?
Probably not.
He's got a good three loners coming in here as well. I'd say with a wizard and a bribe or something, do a bit of fouling. Can really help against the blodge pieces. And he's got his one turner. I think even with the team value difference here, it's going to be a pretty close game. I wouldn't really want to call it either way.
No.
I'm not really sure which way that would go, if I'm honest.
I think I lean a little bit towards the Dark Elf, just because the Mighty Blow Witch is so good. And in general, I think Dark Elves are just very good against the more agi teams, because they can still keep up with you, but they are not as committed to the AV7 life as you are. Which most of the time means like your edge on them in agi game is not good enough, but they just completely destroy you in bash.
Yeah, I mean, out of all the elf teams, Dark Elves are probably the most the most
Bash.
able to kind of play a bit of a bash game. Yep, so they can kind of stand toe to toe there, definitely.
But like, it's definitely a close one, and if there is a match you want to watch, I would definitely recommend this one. Following up, we have the other Skaven team, the Three Musketeers and Spares versus Drop Dead Gorgeous. And despite getting not a good week versus Samoa, no one really took damage. So he's still going to have all the guard and some tackle and some mighty blow for the Skaven match. And I don't think he's going to give any inducements. And the Three Musketeers do have a bench and quite a nice roster.
I think
Mm,
I'm gonna have to go for the Necro again here. I mean, it's just all this guard. I really think that the Skaven will struggle against that.
well,
They've got a couple of mighty blow tackle pieces.
I think I'll go like with the Skaven this time. I don't know what the skill up on the fourth gutter runner is, but 2 movement 10 guys probably means a 1 turn will happen. Which leaves me like saying probably the Skaven will have a very good chance, like at the worst case, to force a draw here.
I don't
And
know. I mean, the thing is they've got the two flesh golems to stand firm, and they don't have an actual natural one turner there because they haven't got sprint yet. So they do need the push, and even getting the one push against two stand firm could be quite hard if Crowdog sets up, does a good defensive setup against the one turn. I don't think it's going to be kind of a no-brainer to get that push. I don't know. I mean, I went with the Necro this week just because of all this guard, and they ended up losing. But I find it such a hard game to play as Skaven against a team that outstrengths you like that. They just base you with everything, and you end up having to try and dodge out with your actually 3 linemen and all that, and it just gets a bit.
Usually the tactic is let the linemen die and let the gutter runners
then
do
you
the
don't
job.
have to dodge them anymore.
Like if they're dead, you don't need to dodge.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm going with the Necro on that one, but tentatively, maybe I'm not 100%.
I believe in the Skaven Overlord, and for the last match it wasn't played. We have Samoa versus Davos Dark Delight with his two teams which are 2-0-0. It's Steve versus Andy Davo. This is an interesting one. Just because both teams have performed, and it's just a big one regardless. Because two strong teams. I think I have to go with the Dark Elves. There is two tackle on the Chaos, like Claw Mighty Blow tackle on the Beastman, and the Block tackle Beastman. There's not going to be a bench unless he buys. He will get some money to either like fill a bench or bribes, but just so much blodge on Andy's team. And I don't think you're going to have the tools to deal with that.
Yeah, if you're including the wrestle, dodge, witch, there's like 8 blodge there. That is going to be pretty tricky, even with the two tackle
Like
that Steve's got on his chaos. But
it's probably going to be 3 blodge on the line as well, and you're not going to get those hits easily because you don't have a tackle.
yeah, and he's just gonna be dodging away all the time. Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. I think the Dark Elves will probably take that one.
Yeah, so this is Division 3. It's still too early to say, oh, this guy is winning the division, but we have some, like, especially after the Andy Davo versus Steve match, I think we are going to start to see some sort of lead. If this is going to be a division where one guy stomps, or it's going to be like a complete brawl where everyone is like, I have 3 draws, some wins, some losses, and like 7 guys are in ready for playoff spot till the very last day.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing a couple of these games actually. The Andy Davo versus Steve game, and also those that 3 Musketeers versus Drop Dead Gorgeous. I think that'll be an interesting game as well.
Yeah.
I'm quite really unsure which way that will go.
Well, the Andy's match is definitely going to be casted on his stream at Twitch TV/Andy Davo. So I would definitely recommend watching that when it happens. But yeah.
And, yeah. Right. Should we move on to Div 1?
Yes. My Div and Viking Cops. MIA Div. So yeah. Oh, no one played because Metal played his match last night. So no one had the time. Good job, Metal, for making it work. We start with the Viking Cops match versus the Undead. I remember that he said that like he didn't get too much damage, but like the Undead was just unable to do anything. Like his team is just stronger in the end with the guard.
I think it was quite a bit of fouling going on as well.
Yeah. He had spot on fouls, if I remember the podcast for Metal. How does the Undead team look? Oh, they're not dead yet. Hooray!
Well, or not double dead anyway. Yeah, I mean, I'm not too surprised by that. I think it's going to be a rough season for the Undead in general. Obviously, Viking Cop really knows what he's doing. He's got a good team as well, so not too surprised by that result, in all honesty.
Yeah, I expect a lot from Viking Cop. I think he probably will win another time in Division 1. And for chat, yes, Division 2 is last because it's the division we are focusing, so we do it so the one we put like a little bit more into gets to be the last. To make the people that want to hear about their division a lot wait. It's like
So we get you all in here saying we're going to focus on your division, and then we leave it till last, so you have to wait for ages.
That's how you get views. Come on, think tactically. Well, next match is a match I watched last night, and it was very enjoyable to watch because, like, from the get-go, I know someone's gonna completely die, and I'll be happy, and that someone was definitely Sage. Like, did you watch the match?
I didn't, unfortunately. I am planning on watching the VOD back, though.
Like, it's a match with less than like 30 blocks total across the whole match, pretty much. But like very early on, Sage gets his killer injured. He apples him. It was a badly hurt, so he comes back. Then he's I'll just put Sage's team because I don't remember the name. Then Liger, the used to be block guard Chaos Warrior, gets niggled, so he gets fired. And then like the Strength 4 Beast with Juggernaut also gets niggled, so he might get fired. And then like fouls both like two of the Chaos Warrior, I think AVQC and Monkey G, they both get badly hurt after like first attempt on the foul, no send off, of course. So after that, like you know Sage like just wants it over. Like he fouled with his killer that he uploaded earlier just to try and get him out. Because that match was over like turn 4.
Okay. That's proper like just save everything you can. And it has to. I have to say as well, it's these kind of matchups that it really spirals. Like once you're behind, it just goes worse and worse. Like they're gonna cause more damage. They're gonna get more hits in. They're going to be able to gang foul you more because they're going to have more space on the pitch. Like everything, it just gets worse and worse. Especially considering he used his Apo early. I can imagine Sage is probably sweating quite a lot.
Yeah. Well, after like 3 of the Warriors were out, 2 too badly hurt because of fouling, and 1 was niggled, it was pretty much like over because the 4th one was KO'd, I believe, and he didn't wake up later as well. So he was pretty happy with that. But like the second half was just Metal punching Rookie Beastman because no one else was left.
Just leave the one guy out there just to take the brunt of it.
So, like, with this result, I'm not 100% happy because I would have preferred that Metal also got banned because I get to play him this week. But I'm happy to see a Chaos team get killed, always. And I think even you as an Ergel coach can understand that.
Oh, for sure. I mean, any big stompy team needs to be cut down a little bit. I would even have to apply that to my own. I can never feel too bad when I take a loss or something because these teams need to be kept in check a little bit.
So yeah,
and I bet Metal's was probably jumping for joy at the end of that game. He's got probably one of his hardest games out of the way, and he managed to win it without losing anything.
He drew against the Orcs, so he's still not in the best position to end up qualifying, but he's on his way. He's learning.
Slowly but surely. Alright, should we go on to the next one?
Yeah, the next one. Some sort of upset. The Umis by T won against Reef Cannon Black Pyramid. And that match was also a bloodfest. Like, I'll just... Like, Reef Cannon's team used to be way above the 2000 mark. And now, like, you can see the holes.
Yeah, he does have a...
Well, that guy...
110k guy out, so...
Well, that guy, not only he was movement busted before, I believe. Now he's also niggled. Yeah. Do you keep him? Like, a rookie blitzer is not going to come back soon, because you're missing another blitzer because he died, but can you keep him? That's a niggle with 30k bloat because of movement plus minus movement.
So it's bloaty anyway, and he's more likely to be
and he's
out.
niggled.
Yeah. It's tricky, isn't it? But the thing is that like playing at these team value divisions, like it's really rough having to take new players. Really sets you back, I find. So I actually don't know what I'd do there. That's a really hard decision.
I definitely agree. It's not one you can do lightly. Because that's still, even if you remove the movement as a skill, he has 4 skills. It's Blodge Step with Diving Tackle, that's pretty good. But Nigel, and like he's more expensive because of the plus minus movement.
And I guess with that skill set, with diving tackle,
Like,
clutch step tackle, like you're going to be in contact a bit more to get the use out of him. So he's going to get hit more. It's tricky.
and like he's going to be in a position where probably he's gonna get fouled after he's knocked down because he is going to just be the lone offense, or like at least sometimes.
Yeah, and most players, if they see a niggle, they
Like,
get bloodlust and just
you
go
can see
straight
the
for
blood in the eyes.
that. I'm really not sure what I'd do there. I'd have to think about that long and hard.
On the other side,
Maybe it depends what the games I've got. If I had a couple of games coming up that weren't too bash heavy, I might keep him around and then get rid of him later on.
yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
I know he's going to play Sage this week, so a little bit easy, but still very difficult. And he's gonna play me the week following. So I would qualify those matches as bash.
I would say so, yeah. Yeah, I might be erring on the side of getting rid of him then, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's a difficult choice, and I would definitely like next week before my match. Like when I play him, I would definitely even ask him in chat what the reasoning was, because it's such a hard decision. But on the flip side, on that match, we had T not only winning a match in Division 1, he also has a legend now, and his legend rolled a good skill on legend. He got the plus Agi. So he's
Yeah.
another plus movement, minus movement. So you could argue he's not really legend, because one of his skills are fake.
They don't count. Yeah.
Like, it doesn't count. This is not a skill, because it doesn't count. He's level 6. Come on. But yeah, RG5 movement 7, that's a second RG5 on this team. So this team is getting pretty strong.
Yeah, in fairness, like, I'm not sure there's. I mean, he might have only wanted a strength over that. Like, that's one of the best things he could have rolled, I'd say.
Like, the only reason why I'm not saying this team is one to look for is because T is coaching it. And, like, I know it's mean and it's intentional, but, like, even T knows he's not the best coach. He does sometimes flop. And, like, it's humans. Humans are, like, the best human team is a joke compared to, like, just a solid chaos team. If you ask me, at least.
Yeah, I'd probably agree if he was trying to do like a bash game, but I mean, I say that and he's got like 5 mighty blow. With all this agility, he doesn't have to play that kind of, base everyone, try and do the
Do you
bash
think
game.
he does it better than
play
Elves?
Well, no.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like,
yeah, yeah. Okay,
like
fair enough.
imagine an elf team with 2 RG6 guys.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
you would just, like, murder them to death. Like, you just, no, I don't want that team. Kill it. Talking about RG6 guys, we had, actually, no, this is next week. Well, talking about Skaven. This is close. We had the Uruk Haikus versus Ravenclaws. The Orcs took a very, like, big loss there, because not only they lost, they also got outbashed in that match, and also that's the 3rd match in a row which was a bloodbath. And if I can find the Uruk Haikus, now they are 14-40 in TV, and they are missing a Blitzer that died, and the Black Orc that died, and there is an MNG on the strength 4 lineman. So that's not a good next game. And like rebuilding a block guard Black Orc means that now you have one good Black Orc, and he's not even that good, I would argue, because tackle just it's nice because you need tackle, but you need guard as well. And like to keep on piling on that, you just have one guard guy now.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really tough for him now. Like having those underdeveloped Black Orcs, like he's going to be outstrengthed by a lot of these more bashy teams. There's quite a lot of them in this division. And to be honest, I don't know if his blitzers are really up to kind of taking up the slack there either.
Yep.
I don't really know. I don't really know how he's gonna. I'm trying to think of a way that he could kind of, leverage what he has to do well, and I'm struggling to think how he's going to do that. It's going to be really tough for him, definitely.
No, it's not going to be an easy season anymore. He had a very good game one, but just getting destroyed by Skaven, that has to feel bad. And like now the team, from being a very strong team, it looks a lot weaker. I believe both players that died had guard, and it's going to show for the next few matches.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard for him. He's only got the one guard, along with the rookie Black Orcs. I just checked as well. Gaudi, with his Ravens claws, they've actually got the most CAS
Yep.
so far in Division 1. So a Skaven team leading the bash.
Well, they do have Claw Mighty Blow and some Pomp,
Oh yeah, for
and
sure. I
and
mean that's
Dirty
the given.
Player.
Yeah, one of my favorite teams for that exact reason. Get your agility and you get your
Murder.
your bash players. Yeah.
Yeah, for the next match we had me versus Philbo. Uh, like,
Talk us through it.
If you look at the statistics, you would think I was salty because I had like 56 blocks and 5 armor breaks. But I was like definitely happy with that match. I got his guard served very, very early on in the first half when he was receiving and just managed to steal the ball. And on the second half, like, I fouled that same guard guy, and that is his only guard guy. So, like, it's a Black Orc, and I fouled him into a badly hurt, so he never came back. And from there on, like, oh, I have 5, 6 guard, you have 0. I'm just controlling the pitch. So
Yeah,
I
it
got
doesn't
more
really matter.
blocks.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter what he has after that point, does it? Like, you can have as much mighty bow piling on, etc., that he wants, but if you are outguarding him by that much, he's just not even going to get to hit you in the first place. So.
Div 2 is last bleeding hippie.
Yeah.
Yep. So this was like, it was what I expected really. I knew I'm going to go in with more guard. I didn't get like any damage outside of the foul, but I didn't really care. Like the goal was to have guard and punch him and score, and we did that exactly.
Yeah, and it's like, what do you do as an orc team if the other person has the option of just basing you with everything they have and you can't hit them back? What do you do then? That's normally what you're doing to your opponent as an orc coach. So if they're doing that to you, I just don't know how you get out of that situation, really.
Yeah. For the next match, because Jungle Corsair got the bye week, we had High Cells versus the last orc team, the Manus Atra's orc team, and it seems like Venachar did a Venachar and just scored a lot and won. Like, he suffered damage, but like, this team is stupid. And yeah, it was.
Nothing is out. I mean, he might have got some badly hurt or whatever, but no like permanence or even miss next games. Can't have been too bad.
It's pretty impressive that like no one dies when he keeps like an eagle guy that probably plays super aggressive, but he is strength 5. So
Yeah, I guess it's not too trivial getting the hits in the first place.
well, if someone can do it, you would expect it to be orcs. But well, especially now with the orc haikus getting completely beaten up, the orc teams like are not as strong as you would expect. Like Manus Atra's team is nice, but he only has 2 tackle, and one of them is on an eagle black orc.
Yeah, that's quite a crazy Black Orc actually with the jump up. Do you think that's for the extra blocks or is that more for the movement?
I don't
Because
know,
what
but
is
I
it like a
hate
4
it.
plus or something to get the extra blocks? So,
Like, I 100% hate it, and I don't know why he made it. But I do hate it, I will confirm.
I think for the extra movement, it's not too bad. If you're expecting to get a lot of extra blocks from it, it might not be the best idea.
Well, the thing is, why, like, ideally he never goes down. Or he goes down very little.
He also hasn't got piling on.
Yeah.
You'd maybe expect him to have got
Yeah.
piling on. Is it
I
tackle?
kind of expect him to get piling on, and that's why I hate him. Because I think piling on a Black Hawk is really stupid.
Yeah, and if he's about to level up, but if he gets piling on now, then he's got a level, um, a level 6 Black Orc with that doesn't even have guard. I mean, block, mighty blow, tackle, piling on. You'd just rather have that on a blitzer, wouldn't you? I think
Yep.
that's the thing.
Like, if we look at the master of piling on from the Big O, good old Papa Nasty, even he doesn't go piling on with Black Oaks. So that says a lot. And that guy just instantly clicks pile on most of the time, at least.
That's be a real reason not to.
Like, huh? I have 4 piling on. Why not use it?
Yeah.
But yeah, like, definitely Venechar probably doing some elf nonsense like you would expect and taking a win. And that leaves the leaderboard with me, Viking Cop and Gaudi with 2 wins. And just Metal being 1-1-0. So it looks like a gap is starting to form, but I definitely don't count on it staying that way. One, because I don't believe in myself enough. And two, because like you still have 5 spots in this division. So even in the world where like me, Viking Cop and Gaudi and Metal do extremely well, there is still another spot. So it's always going to be messy and the brawl for the last spot in this division, I would say, which is very
Yeah,
nice.
I think it's going to be really interesting actually when we get to the later stages, when there's only like 2 or 3 games left or what have you. Having the 5 promotions, not promotion, the 5 playoff
Qualifiers.
spots. Yeah, like that's going to make it such a mashup. Like I'm sure it's going to end up meaning that there's so many teams that have the potential to get in there if they can just win their last few games. It's going to make it really
Yeah.
tense. I think, which is great. I really like that they've done that.
Like especially with like Bobby Bintang being out because of real life, like you definitely know that 5 out of 13 are going to qualify. That's like 40%. Like
Yeah.
you know everyone is going to punch each other until they get that spot. Like if in game doesn't work, you're gonna go out of game and make it work.
Mm.
So yeah, for the next week, the 3rd week, we have the Undead team getting a nice soft bye week after needing after the need to deal with me and Viking Cop, which is definitely nice. We have another Orc off between Philbo's Fighting Fist and the Wat Tigers.
I mean, there's going to be a lot of Orkoffs
Yes. Well, with 4
in
Orc
this
teams,
division.
you expect
Yeah.
one a week on average.
Yeah. Let's see what we've got here then.
Yeah, I think for this one, even though Philbo does get his MNG guard back, and he had a level up on a Blitzer that scored, which might mean more guard, I still think he's gonna be outguarded. Manusata doesn't have, like he only has 5 guard, and I would say he's lacking, like he's not as annoying as my team with like must stand firm to just not allow you to move. But I still think, especially with 2 strength 5, 1 thrower, strength 4, 1 on the thrower, 1 of the linemen, he's going to have the bash lead.
Yeah, I'd have to agree there. And I think it's worth pointing out how well he's done after he got absolutely smashed about halfway through last season and lost so many players, and he's managed to come back, ended up in Div 1, and still have this team going. I think he's done really well.
Yeah.
Just a little shout out to him there for that. Yeah, I'd have to put my money on Manus this game, I think.
I would put my money on Manus, but I always remember that it's Philbo. And every once in a while, Philbo just wins a game because Philbo. You
He's
don't
one of
know
those people
how,
that
but it
I played him a
works.
good 2 or 3 times with my Nurgle, and I think he's won 2 of them, 2 out of 3 or something.
Like,
And he always ends up killing like a really good player or something.
like he plays recklessly, I would say, at times, and it works sometimes. And like, if you go back into Gman history when he played Skaven, it didn't work a lot of times. But it seems like it's working with the orcs, so I would definitely
Maybe Orc
never
will
count him
work,
out.
right?
Well, the answer to that is no, it's not going to work. You should probably make a new team called Orcs Didn't Work. Uh, Side note, I have that name saved.
Oh, do you actually?
Yes, I'll show it for
For the
everyone.
inevitable death of your current team, and
Yeah,
when
I
you
have like a
re-roll.
Pro Elf team ready just because, I don't know, Orcs did not work. Best team name. You will be able to watch it on the stream in a sec.
Yeah,
It's
I'll put
very
it up.
important to make sure people know that Orcs did not work.
Brilliant. I love
Yeah.
it.
For the third, I'm not sure if it's for the next match because it doesn't really work with the bye week. Uh, Venechar is going to
Ooh,
play Gaudi, and that's going to be an
yeah.
interesting one. Because
Ah, I can't wait to see that. That's going to be like bullshit off, right?
yeah, it's going to be silly nonsense Skaven. Is this Strength 5 Agi Strength 3 Agi 5 got a new? I want definitely already bounted by Viking Cop, and
I mean, seriously though, come on. Skaven should not have a team over 200,000 or whatever.
Skaven.
2 million, I mean, so
Well,
that's
you can say the
ridiculous.
same about the Wood Elves.
Yeah, that's fair, I suppose.
Well, it's
I
going
think
to
it's
be silly startups on silly teams against silly startups on another silly team, I think. Any guesses? Because like anything can happen with so many nonsense players.
I reckon it'll be a what, like a 3-3 draw.
that,
Just
that,
keep
that makes
scoring.
sense.
Oh, God, I don't know. I think maybe I'd have to put my money on the Skaven. They just have the ability to do a bit more damage, possibly.
Well, like, yes and no, because Venator has the
We do
strength with
have
the
a mighty
3
blow.
and
Mm.
like the silly strength 5 guy and mighty blow.
Yeah, and the
Like,
tree, I
like
guess.
this is going to be such a weird game. And lucky injuries are definitely gonna come into it, but it's just going to be I score in one turn, you score in one turn, I score in one turn, you score in one turn. Oh, game is over, 10-10 result. Yeah, like this is a match where everyone is going to score every single, like as quickly as possible, and because of that, someone is going to get a blitz, and that blitz will decide the game. That or blood. Those are the two
So
options.
that's your prediction. There'll
Yeah,
be a blitz at some point, and that person will
just
win.
because I don't smell enough blood. I think we had enough blood last week for the whole division of G-Man. I hope so, because I really don't want to die to metal. I really don't.
I think that's going to be a great game to watch.
Yeah.
Everyone should watch that.
For the next match, we have T's Umis versus Dreamify's Jungle Corsairs. Jungle Corsairs still trying to recover. Not surprising, but he has a lot of money in the bank thanks to that bye week against Bobby Miltag. So a wish is going to come back, and probably we will be able to see a full roster of 11 and maybe even a bench. Because the witch
Yeah,
brings it to 11, a blindman is a bench. That's really good for Dreamify. That's how you recover. And he's not going to be that expensive because he has like 90k of the current TV in gold.
yeah, that's true. I think I still have to put my money on the humans here. Probably.
Uh,
Just with the tackle and the guard, might blow. I think you've actually got quite a lot to deal with the Dark Elves. It's probably one of
yeah,
his better matchups, actually.
I would agree that like in at least on paper, this is why you play humans to beat elf teams like these that are not too elfy. Like they are elfy enough to deal with chaos or Nergal because they are slow, but like you outspeed them and outstrength them. And with T's team, you probably out Agi them because Agi 5. So I would definitely give it to T, but it's
But
T.
it's T.
So
I knew that
maybe
was
he
coming.
forgets how tackle zones work and loses it. I don't know. I'll bet on T, but I don't like betting on T.
Oh, and then we got your game next.
Yes, I'm going to get completely destroyed by Metal once again. I'm betting on Metal. I would never bet on Orcs. Orcs are bad. Don't try them. Like my team is actually lovely. Now. Next week probably less. I will get inducements. I have not decided what I'm doing with them. And I really don't like this matchup. Like, it was very fun. Like, Metal asked me in like clan chat, like, when do you want to play? And like, immediately following up, never is not an appropriate answer.
You can't make up some random excuse.
Well, like, my answer then is, well, maybe instead of saying never, can I be Sean Man and think that we scheduled like for 6 months from now, like he did on Cripple Cup, thinking that it was on August instead of like January, because Sean Man? The way of the big rat is secret.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even have that much more guard than him. I think it's going to be a tough game for you there.
It's not
If
going
you
to
can
be
come
that
out
much.
of it with your team intact, it'll probably be a win, I suppose.
Yeah.
A
Well,
moral victory.
it's definitely going to be a moral victory. Um, I still do have the guard advantage in all seriousness, and I have some stand firm, which is a very
Yeah.
annoying skill when it works. So maybe I can pull something off and try to go for a draw. Maybe I'll get lucky and like remove a claw myself, and then he doesn't have like the numbers and the kill power to kill me. Probably not, but maybe.
You've got a good bench there. Like you can put just linemen on the line, and things like that. So there are things you can do to kind of mitigate what he's got, but it's going to be tough,
Yeah.
definitely.
I will get some inducements, like about 250 inducements. Maybe I'll even splash for my bank if I have an interesting game plan.
Who are you playing afterwards? That's maybe a
Ooh.
good thing to
I'm
do.
playing. This was like really weird when I saw the schedule because last week Sage played Metal, and now I play Metal. Reef Cannon plays Sage, and next week I play Reef
Mm.
Cannon.
Yeah.
And like
That's
I
probably
think
quite
next week is going to be a nice soft matchup because Reef Cannon already got banged, and hopefully is going to get more banged.
Yeah, I mean, if you were gonna splash out a bit and use some of your actual money, rather than just the inducements, it might be quite a good week to do it. So,
No. The big fear is that after that I get to play Sage, and I don't want to play Sage either.
and then we've got
Well, the thing is,
another Orc
Bleeding Hippie.
versus Claw team.
Yeah, but
Oh,
before
sorry,
that,
carry on.
I'll answer to Bleeding Hippie. Metal doesn't have a kill Pestigor, but the big problem is that he has very strong Nergal warriors. And this stupid Agi5 guy, because why not? Like, it's definitely a match I can win if I position well, but I just know from experience that Metal is going to win because of stupid fouls, and I'm going to tell him that the fouls are stupid, but he's going to win regardless because when it's against me it works, but when he does it in Clan League he gets completely punished, and I tell him, I told you so, don't foul.
Yeah, it's gonna be tricky as well with his Surfer. Be
Yeah.
careful with that because normally it might be something you don't really worry about with all your stand firm, but he's got Juggernaut and that. So
Well, I'm used to a scary surfer from Sage's old Strength 4 Juggernaut,
mm.
but he's maybe dead, maybe not. I don't know. So yeah, for the next match we have, like, my matchup makes me sad, because I don't want to get killed, but this matchup makes everyone sad, because poor Uruk-hai's already gotten beaten up, and now they get the pleasure of getting beaten up by Viking Cop.
from one death train to the other.
Well, like you didn't expect the Skaven to be so deadly, but they were. So now you're like, well, this is horrible. Yeah, I think that's everything we have to say for that match. And as I slightly mentioned before, we have Sage versus the Black Pyramid, which is Rift Cannon. This is a little bit weird because both teams got completely destroyed in their last week. But Sage still has all of his tackle intact for this match. And Reef is missing quite a lot of key players. I think I'm going to go Sage for this one. Just because I think he got less banged. And he's missing, like, he isn't missing the keys that were important for this matchup at least.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. I think if the Dark Elves hadn't lost a couple of players, then I might be more on their side of it. Like at the start of the season, I might have even gone for them before any games were played. But as it stands, I think they're gonna struggle a bit against Sage's Chaos. Definitely. I mean, everyone's always going to struggle.
No. Well, unless
Chaos.
you just kill them like metal, that works. Tested. But yeah, that's Division 1, and right now it definitely looks like it's going very much Viking Cop and Gaudi, I think. Especially with this week round. Gaudi is going to have a tough matchup, but I think Viking Cop is riding a wave, and like, I don't think the poor Orcs will be able to stop it. So, Viking Cop number 1, and I'm not biased because he's part of this cast, but not here today. Because he's not here today. Let's go to Division 2, the one we will cover the teams as well for. So let's look quickly at last week's matchup. Very quickly actually, because we go into the teams later. We had you beating the Chaos. I think we saw that before. No, we talked about it and we said you're probably going to beat this Chaos because you have a better team. And you defeated the Chaos because you had a better team, I assume?
Yeah, pretty much. More guard, more high-level players that can kind of carry the game for you. Yeah, it was always going to be a really tough game for him. And it was actually that thing I was talking about earlier with two Bash teams facing off against each other. Once one starts getting ahead, tends to just spiral. Like the first half was, I think he received, and it was fairly close. Like there weren't too many removals and things like that. He had a chain.
You got cut off there for some reason. Is it my internet? Can you hear me? Can chat hear me? I don't think. Am I streaming? It says I'm live. That's weird. That is weird. What? Yay! Chat can hear me. It's not my fault. Yay! The dream. Yeah, I cannot hear Pink as well because he got cut off. That was why I was confused because he just disappeared. I'm going to ask him if he's alive. Well, let's assume he was just going to say, I banged the Chaos because I have more skills.
I'm back now. Sorry, I don't know what happened there.
Aw, I already looked. So yeah, summarize what I didn't heard. Like, it started slow, but eventually you banged the Chaos because you had more skills.
Pretty much, yeah. By the end of the second half, it kind of spiraled out of control, and I think he didn't have that many players on the pitch by the end. Let me do. I was kind of able to do what I wanted in the end. Yeah. Quite a standard game, really.
For the next match, we had Nutty Dreads against of Ice and Dire, and you can see from the MVP that someone important died. And you feel bad because one, a very important player died, and he got the MVP.
Who was that? I'm just reloading a bunch of stuff.
It's the Mighty Blow Blodge Wolf of some kind of potato. Yes, he did die. and we're going to go into how bad it is a little bit later on when we talk about his next week match. But it's definitely not a happy one for you, because that's a devastating death. For the third match, we had Kiakro not being able to play this match against JJ Cash because real life happened, really. So it was a default admin win by me. These MVPs mean nothing. These mean nothing. Like you can see in the dice thingy, the dice hall, the MVPs. We will talk about it a little. For the match after that, we had Alv getting completely destroyed by the lizards. It seems like they actually were able to block more and even do more injuries, but it seems like just Skinks did their job and scored. And there's a level up on the source, and he has Blodge now and MNG. I would say worth it. Definitely worth it.
Yeah, I might have been okay with that actually in the end.
Yeah. After that, we had Ken losing to Underworld because they both murdered each other, but Underworld did their job better.
Yeah, so we've had a couple of both the Underworld teams in the top divisions managed to win their games this
Yeah.
week. Good
Good
job for
job,
them.
Underworld.
Yeah. I
We
think
also.
against a. Oh no, Karen.
Oh no, you can talk. I was meaning to go on, but if you have something to say, it's probably interesting.
I was just going to say, I'd imagine that Chaos Wars are probably one of the harder matchups for them as well, with all the tackle and guard, etc. So,
Well,
really good job there.
if you kill the Chorfs, they are not scary.
Well, there are like 6 of them, so.
Yeah.
Then who have we got? Got Nostalgic Memories beat
Wendel's
Wendel's
chance.
Chance. Yeah.
I think we expected that. Like, not enough tackle for Wendell and elf bullshit. Eventually, the elf bullshit is going to prevail. And for the last week, we had Bleeding Hippie beating Svaho's theme.
Yeah.
I think we said it's going to be an interesting match, but I don't remember correctly. Probably we were leaning to Bleeding Hippie just because Chorfs are nasty, and
Mm.
his Chorfs are completely nasty. And with that, we're now going to actually look at the teams, and we have for the first round, we have you versus Ken, and I know you're not looking forward to that match. So, like, we are both sitting in the I don't want to play this week chair.
I don't know what it is, but like every time I play him, he seems to beat me and take out some key player. Although he did say in the chat that apparently he didn't take anyone out last time. I'm not sure if that's the case or not. I can't remember.
Well,
But
his team
I
is looking softer with missing a Chorf, I think he died, and MNG on another one.
yeah, he's only got one more guard than me as well. I think also I've historically I've always played him in the last like couple of games of the season, and I've been like trying to fight for promotion, and then he's beaten me and stopped me getting promoted. So I'm quite happy at least to be playing him earlier on in the season where it doesn't feel like it matters as much. I know ultimately like every game does matter, but I am happy to be playing him slightly earlier on in the season.
Well, I see that you got a level up on the ball carrier, and we talked a little bit about it in the recap chat that we have with me and Viking Hop and you. But did you decide on what you're going for this skill on this Pestigore?
No, I still haven't made up my mind. So it's a double for anyone that's wondering. I was kind of vaguely considering sidestep if I wanted to take the double, but I'm probably not going to. I think I'm more likely to get extra arms, if I'm honest. Is probably what I'm going to end up picking here. I can't think of any other doubles that would make sense on him.
Yep. If chat has an idea, you can always suggest. But I would agree, like, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of sidestep on players that can take stand firm or normals ever. I would argue that yes, sidestep is better than stand firm on a ball carrier, but the difference is very small. And if you don't take stand firm on a ball carrier, why do you take sidestep? At least on this kind of team, because you're not planning to sideline cage ever. Because if you sideline cage, you practically already lost.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'd rather just get the 2+ pickups, to be honest, but I haven't 100% made up my mind. We'll see. But I also got the level up on the Paparao, Nurgle Warrior.
Ooh, an Oracle
Uh,
Warrior. And he went for Mighty Blow.
yeah,
That's greedy.
I just want to try and level him up as quickly as possible. Derzor's gonna get guard most likely. So I really want to have a bit more guard on this team to help out with the bash matchups. And because he's got more SPP already, I decided to give him the guard, and I'm just going to try and level up Papa out as quickly as possible. So I went for Mighty Blow.
Also, from Bleeding Hippie from chat, he says that he prefers Big Hand to Extra Arms. And I would definitely like to hear your response to that, because I know why Big Hand is good. I know why Extra Arms is good. Sell me on Extra Arms.
I mean, the thing is with Big Hand is that it's more for like picking up in tackle zones and things like that, and I don't intend to need to do that too much. Like a lot of the time, I'm going to win my games like 1-0 or something. You know, I'd quite happy just stopping them from scoring on their drive and then just getting the one touchdown on my drive. I'm not going to be stealing all that often. Also, I mean, extra arms does still help with tackle
Yeah.
zones. So I think across the board, like in more situations, I think extra arms helps you more. If I had an agility 4 Pestigore like I used to have, I'd get big hand over extra arms, but as it is
That
here,
doesn't count.
yeah,
Like, oh, I pick
exactly,
up on a 2+ anyway in the rain.
exactly. So yeah, that's why I'd prefer extra arms over big hand in this situation. I don't really expect to be like stealing the ball all too often, and having to pick up in tackle zones that much. And also, in addition to that, if I really need to, I do have the other plus agility Pestigore that can kind of like go and pick something up and hand off or something like that.
Well,
Um,
I'm not really a chaos type of coach. I don't like the chaos energon very much, so I don't know what I would have picked. But I definitely agree with like I definitely understand being a hippie, cause yes, like extra arms is nice when you like to pick up normally, and it is the same in one tackle zone. But in those games where you really need to pick up in 2 or 3 tackle zones because the scatter was bad, having big hand can just win you the game on its own, and usually failing the pickup on your offense is not going to be that crucial. And even if it is, you would just use your RG5 Festigo here instead, because you can reroll it in the world where failing the pickup means it scatters out, or like there's a gutter runner that can just pick it up.
hmm. It's something to think about, definitely.
Yeah, it's not an easy one, because Big Hand is like a more edge case skill, but it's probably more like when that edge case happen, having Big Hand can change it from a loss to a win, and X Arms is more consistent, but
Yeah,
it
I
affects
guess I'd
a
agree
less
with that.
important part of play.
Yeah, I guess I could agree with that. Like big hand's probably going to help you more often, but in those really crucial moments, maybe big hand is slightly better.
Yeah,
Extra arms, I mean, it help
yeah.
you more often, but big hand maybe has the like really crucial plays on its side.
In a sense, it's a little bit like, do you go extra arm first or 2 heads first? Because when you need to dodge, having the 2 heads is so important, because failing the dodge means you most likely lose. But you pick up more. You don't dodge every game, and you pick up maybe twice every game, maybe 4 times on average. depending on how good you are with killing everything.
Bleeding Hippie's saying he'd probably just get tackle on the
Ooh.
ball carrier anyway.
Ooh.
I do quite like that actually in general. They tend to be sitting back a lot on defense. Waiting to go and pick up the ball if you do manage to get a sack or something. So they're kind of already in the position where they can act a little bit like a kind of sweeper. So giving them tackle is good for that. But I do also already have my Saka, which tends to be in the backfield. Um, keeping me safe from those elves running off. So I don't think I'll be getting tackle on him.
Also, shout outs to kickoff return and kick over here. You're Nergal, you're not going to do that much with kick, I would argue, and kickoff return is nice, but that's
Yeah, I
everything
had I
about
had
kickoff
kickoff
return.
return on my I had kickoff return on my last ball carrier, and I actually did really like it. Um, that was a plus agility Pestigore, and it was really nice on the occasions where I could move them under the ball to get that extra chance at catching it, which was obviously a bit more likely with the plus agility. Um, and that's aside from obviously just getting the extra movement on a fairly low movement player. Kick also, I have to say, I really like it on all teams. A lot of people have the automatic assumption that it's more of a skill that you just take on agility teams, but I really like it on bash teams as well. I think it can make a huge difference if you manage to get the ball near the LOS, and you can kind of it it can make it kind of tricky for the opposing coach. In the order that they want to do their turn. Normally they're probably going to want to do all their blocks first and things, but if it's the ball's near the LOS, they might need to go and pick it up first, which just adds another
Yeah.
chance for them to fail and put them in a bad position.
It's mostly me being a very org coach, and I just argue, and I talked about this in the recaps before, that like kick doesn't work on orcs because it means you need to either put kick on a blitzer or to commit to a game plan where you put a black orc or a blitzer on the line, and
Sure.
both those game plan are just insane if you ask me.
Yeah, I agree, and that's actually the main reason I wouldn't take it on Nurgle as well. It's not because I wouldn't want it; it's because there's not really anyone good to put it on. Like, you don't really want it on anyone but a rotter, but then you're not going to be able to put a rotter. Rotters are going to be going on the LOS the vast majority of the time. But then that's what I was going. Yeah, some people do put it on the throwers, but I just think there's better things.
Well, my argument is that the orc thrower is only there for sure hands, and that he's never needed on defense because he's useless. He's slow, he's armor 8, and he's just like pretty useless regardless. He's there for sure hands.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it depends on the bash teams. It depends on which team you're talking about. Like maybe an Otherworld team or something. You're going to have some zombies which are just never going to be going on the LOS, so you could afford to have them on that. Or Necro for that matter. But actually, maybe not on Necro.
Yeah, I think Bleeding Hippie puts it nicely. Like, he can be nice on bash teams, but the opportunity cost of other skill is too great. Because, like, Mighty Blow, Guard, Stand Firm, Tackle, just are also nice to have in spam. And that's not even talking about mutation access, or
Mm.
that you also have doubles and stats on your players.
Yeah, it's really tricky to fit it in there, isn't it? Because you're not really going to be able to put it on a rotter because they're not going to be on the they're going to be on the LOS most of the time. And like you said, if you take them off the LOS, you're probably putting a positional on there instead.
Like,
So it's pretty risky just to get that kick. So generally, it's not going to happen. I did used to have a kick rotter actually, but I didn't like it that much.
did he die or did you fire him?
He ended up having like 2 minus movements and a niggle. So
What?
yeah. Uh,
That's a very weird mummy. It's not a rotter anymore.
I didn't mind it too much at first. Like 1 minus movement isn't too bad because they can still kind of stand back up and go into whatever position they were in the first place if they get knocked down. But having the movement 3 and then obviously the niggle on top of it, I was like, nah. It's good time to go.
Well, putting us a little bit back on track, let's look shortly at Poor's Ken team losing a Choff blocker and MNG on a blocker. I believe the dead one had guard, and like definitely recoverable from, but not happy times, especially going into a Claw Mighty Blow match against Leon Ergel. So, how confident are you in this win?
Not particularly confident, but a lot of that, if I'm honest, comes from my previous experience playing Ken. So I think it's going to be. It could definitely go either way. I guess if
What do you guess? He guesses. No, I think we lost him again, because it says I'm live, and like OBS is doing well. Well, uh, he guesses that his internet is dead. F. Press F to InfinitePink in chat. So, yeah, next match we have Mighty Reptiles, who won their game 3-0 against the Poor Norse team. And now they are getting to play the other Nergal team in this division, Uwendo's Chance, Kraton and his Mighty Reptiles. There is an MNG on the source. We saw him level up from the MVP, but now he's MNG'd. And like, it's a solid Lizard team. Lizard teams hardly never look impressive, because like, oh, they have block and guard, hooray! But they have block and guard, so they're like amazing. This is an amazing source. Also, nice kinks, bloaty. They're skinks. Enter, it's a skink clip here, or something like that. They will be facing an underworld, and a necro, a Nergal team. I know words. I know words. I'm totally not thrown off, but not by not having a pink here. They're facing Urwendo's Nergal team, which have two Claw Mighty Blow, one on a Nergal Warrior, one on a Pestigore, and they don't have tackle, and they did lose to Elves last week. But against Lizards that are already missing a Saurus, this is why you play Nergal like this, because you can just kill the Lizards. They have the Mighty Blow and the Claw. There's a Source missing. Probably we will see Slibly and maybe even a Loner Source coming in to fill the spots. But I think Uwendo is going to have a very good chance at winning this. He has a nice Nergal team. I don't remember any changes from last week. If we look at the SPP, just a little bit of SPP nowhere where it's important, or a level up at least. It's a nice team in the end. He has the Claw Mighty Blow, and the Lizards, although being pretty strong, are not going to have a strong week, I think. This is the downfall of Wizards. You got banged by someone else, and you now are forced to play a Claw team. I would put it to a Wendor, but Wendor is really good at drawing games. So maybe I just say a draw, because like he is the king of draws. After that, we have a match that was already decided. It's a win for the Cash crew. Looking shortly over the team, JJ Cash had an admin result because Kyakro wasn't able to play the week before, and it seems like his Ogre got MNG'd again this week, which is impressive. I don't see anything that wasn't there when I admined the match. It seems like the team is still going strong. It's rather healthy with a lot of Agi4 and rather strong with some Ogre and a little bit of guard. It's a strong human team in the end. And on the other side, Svahos BDSL winning, actually no, losing to Bleeding Hippie, and then losing to this week as well. Still going strong. It doesn't seem like they lost anyone important. The Witch Elf is niggled. Oh no. No. F. Well, if you ignore the Witch Elf that was probably niggled this game, the team was perfect. You don't know about the match that was played in the non-existent week. But yeah, a strong Dark Elf team. They had a rough start now with 2 losses, but maybe they can pull it back up. They still have a lot of blodge. And now for an actual match we can guess about. It's another Chorfoth. We have seen one of those in week 1, I believe, between Black and Wrecker and Natty Dreads. And now we have Bleeding Hippie and his Snow White and 6 Chorfs versus Big Easy TP and his Natty Dreads. Team having all of the Chaos Blockers. I think this one died to Ken and just returned as a rookie. He has a very nice Blodge Step Tackle, Break Tackle, Bull Centaur, about 4 guard, and only 1 Mighty Block Claw, and it's armor busted in the usual Chaos Dwarf fashion. He has a little bit of a bench and a dirty player. On the other side of the ring we have Bleeding Hippie, and from memory this team is supposed to be a lot more scary. And it is. There is Clopomb with Juggernaut as well. Again, armor 8, typical. 2 Blodgers with Break Tackle on the Bull Centaurs. Once again, only 4 guard. And he has, instead of the rookie, there is a Claw Mighty Blow Jump Up Jorf, filling that spot. He also has an Agifor Hobgoblin, a Blodge Hobgoblin, and a Ballsucker Hobgoblin. He doesn't have the dirty player like the other team, but I still think having 1 claw above the opponent's team is going to be pretty big, and we see a little bit of deviation in game plan. I believe Bleeding Hippie plays where this Blodge Hobgoblin or maybe the Agi4 is going to carry the ball, where Big ZDP plays with the Agi3 Sure Hands Bull Centaur carry. It's a tough one to say which is better. I tend to go with the Hobgoblin Ball Carrier, but I don't play Chorfs like ever, because I don't like dwarves of any kind. So yeah, like Bleeding Hippie has Mighty Blow on the opponent and has Claw on the opponent. The big difference here, and what probably can lose him the match on its own, is this dirty player and the fact that there is going to be about 200,000 in inducement. Yeah, Bleeding Hippie confirming that he carries with a Hobgoblin. The Agi one is new. It makes sense to take Agi on a Hobgoblin, lets him dodge and be an assist, and maybe Ball Carrier, like he stated in the comment that he might be going for the Agi 4 carrying or the Blodge carrying. I'm not sure about that one, because like Agi 4 is good because it's safe pickup, but Blodge is good because it's safe ball. So it's going to be a little bit weird for the next few weeks, because on one hand probably it's safer to carry on the Blodge, but you don't want to waste rerolls on the pickup, and you don't really need any more skills on the Blodge outside of Sure Hands, and like there is much more room for development on the Agi 4. And I would argue that the Blodge is easier to convert into not a ball carrier, because you just put tackle on him and he's like another sweeper, or you put in like, and then you have 4 sweepers, which is not bad. And if he rolls doubles, guard is definitely tempting. You have 20k spare, but oh, well, that's correct. It will be about 160k. You need to remember that some people splash money on their game, so it's definitely possible that he will go bribe against you. And I think that might be a very legitimate game plan. It's a little bit scummy, but it happens. And if that's the case, it's going to be a very close match where it really depends how good your Clopomb is. And if it isn't the case, I think you will have a much nicer match, because I don't have that much faith in a Chorf Wizard. Yeah, I definitely agree with you that receiving here matters a lot. But like even if like you receiving means that you get like 2 claw hits, 1 being Clopomb, and 2 mighty blow hits on the first turn, he has 1 less claw hit and no Clopomb. which makes the difference, but still enough Mighty Blow to hit you, and the foul. So I still give you the edge, but I will agree that like the receiver has like a 10%, like it's like 60% for you, 65% for you to win if you receive, and like 55% for him to win if he receives, because the receiver is still going to have the edge. Or something like that with more reasonable stats, or a smaller difference. Maybe 60 to you if you receive and 55 for him if he receives. Because in the end it's going to be about damage, about the claw, and about the fouls. And he has the foul game, you have the claw game. Yeah, so that's the chore off. Going to be bloody for sure. Like, you're not going to be able to disengage, and you have claw, mighty blow playing around. So for the next match, Ken, you're stupid, because I said if Bleeding Hippie receives, he has 65%, and if the other team, if EasyTP receives, he has 55%. That means that if Bleeding Hippie receives, EasyTP fills it to the other way around. So if Bleeding Hippie has 60%, then EasyTP has 40%, which is case 1, and it's completely different to case 2, where EasyTP receives, because they are different consistents. Ken, don't do math, don't do GFIs, and don't dodge. Good job, Ken. Good job. Yeah, Bleeding Hippie explains it correctly, and like Ken is understanding that he's a potato. What a surprise. So yeah, next match, because explaining statistics to Ken is probably not an enjoyable thing for anyone. Maybe for Ken, he needs to know that. So yeah, Nostalgic Memories, which is Pro Elves against this FedEx Chaos team. It's Lava Jackal versus Chaos versus FedEx. From Lava Jackal, we have a nasty Pro Elf team. We have Lipa G4, because why not? And another AG4, I believe, AG5. I believe this AG5 is new from the last game. He did win against Uwendor and got a nice amount of SPP. And it seems like... actually, no, it's not. It's from the game before then. It was around, but regardless, this team is nasty. They don't have as much blodge as other elf teams we have seen around the league, but they have the stats to maybe later down the line be important. Especially with 2 movement on catchers, a leap AG5, that's an important one, and an AG5 guard, that's a mobile guard, you give him a leap, and like he jumps into the cage, and then you jump into the cage and follow up with a blitz, that is a 2 dice. He this week is going to play FedEx poor Chaos team. It got beaten up quite badly by InfinitePink that is missing right now. He used to have 3 Chaos Warriors, because like 1 was already dead. Now he has 1 for this match. And that one is only MNG'd, which is definitely nice. This team is looking poorly. This Beastman is probably dead. The 2 Niggles are just probably dead as well. This team is just missing everything right now. You don't have Beastman, you don't have Chaos Warriors, you do have some Claw Mighty Blow, which is nice. But Bash doesn't work with no bench, and the Loner Beastmen are very bad. And maybe this week he can a little bit, like, he's not going to get bashed, hopefully, because it's elves. They do have 1 mighty blow, but maybe you can survive and build a little bit of bank to start and recover. And to follow up with that, you have like some mighty blow, and like the elves, they do have 4 blodge and 3 dodge. Maybe you can roll some powers, get the injuries, and recover from the the possible bad week, I still give this to the elves, but there is a few tackle. Like this Mighty Blow Strength 4 tackle is going to be the key player. If he can smash some elves, remove the key positioners quickly, maybe there is something to say, because you are going to get some inducements, but you don't have much to capitalize with, because you are being forced into 2 loners, which leaves about 300k in inducements, and slightly more, 350. But Chaos do endorsement very poorly. You have pretty bad stars. The only one really worth mentioning is maybe Grashnak and, well, of course, Lord Borat, the spoiler. But both of them are not very useful against elves. The other inducement options are a bribe, and you definitely should capitalize on some sort of foul game. Maybe induce a dirty player Beastman alongside a bribe, or maybe 2 bribes, and just hope you can foul the elves and murder them with your mighty blow for a win. But even with that game plan, the elves probably have the tools to stop you, and just win before you can kill them. It's not going to be an easy match, and by the look of it, it's not going to be an easy season as a whole for Fedic, because just too many dead players, and Chaos don't rebuild well. But I think this is a match where he might have a chance. If he was going after a Bash team, especially with like only one Chaos Warrior, you're not looking good. It's the best time to get elves, but it's like elves are never easy, and this is still the case over here. And for the next match, we have Ice and Dire against Warpstone's Sneaky Servant, which is some kind of potato against Carlos Ib's Underworld. I've seen him in chat earlier. Let's go to his team first. For the Underworld, they have, if memory serves, they had a very extreme like strength 4 movement 8 like thrower, if I remember, and I believe he died, and now there's a new one, which is a rookie, and the other one is probably also dead with the minus armor, which definitely doesn't look good. He has 2 very nice Storm Vermin after a very bloody match. I believe the clone that Royal is new. Yes, it is. And the horns on this Skaven Blitzer is new. An interesting pick. I would probably go Tackle, just because Tackle is good, but Horns is a nice one for blitzing, allows you to blitz in Strength 5. Alongside that we have a dead Skaven lineman, and Gobos are Gobos. They don't do much. Yeah, I am confirmed that the poor Handy Johnson, the hero Skaven thrower, was killed. He was movement 8, strength 4, probably had block and some other skills, but we cannot check, and he's dead, so doesn't really matter no more. But yeah, like this team, you lost your throwers, which sucks, but you still have your key players. Like you have the Blitzers are doing good, and the Blitzers are the team if you ask me, and the Troll is also solid. Like he has Guard and Claw. The only 2 skills you're really missing right now are Stand Firm and Tentacles, but those are not as important as the Claw and Guard, I would say. So yeah, this week, oh yeah, you get to play some kind of Wizard and Eyes of Dire. We talked about this a little bit earlier, but Shaggy Dog is dead, and it's nice that he got the MVP, so it's easier to know that he's dead. Mighty Blow Blodge Wolf down forever. That's one of the 2 important werewolf of some kind of wizard. He's also having MNG on this movement 8 ghoul, and the dirty player is also missing a game. That's pretty good for Carlos Ib. He had a tough last game, but at least this team is not as scary as it can be. He's still like this some kind of wizard's team is still pretty fast, even with missing a movement ghoul and the rookie key werewolf instead of a blodge one, they still have a bit of guard and one mighty blow, but there is no mighty blow alongside tackle, which makes it slightly safer for the gobos. And like there is only one mighty blow, so maybe you can pull a miracle here. You definitely can win the bash war. There is no bench from some kind of wizard, and he's not getting inducements. I'm going to go a little bit crazy and say I give Underworld the match here, just because they can kill more. Like, and some kind of wizard is missing. Like he has this wolf, which is amazing, but is he going to be enough? Because the other wolf is not doing much. The whites are not too strong. The ball carrier ghoul is nice, but he's just a ball carrier, and no bench is going to really hurt. One thing, I'm 100% jinxing you. Uh, Good luck with that. But like, if you look at the power of kill, it definitely goes the Underworld way. They have a little bit, like one bench right now, but they will get inducements, and they probably don't use their bank because they're saving for a new thrower and lineman, but they get inducements, which can be bribes, which can be bench, which can be Glart for even more kill power, and the bench, of course. And some kind of wizard does have the strength with the 2 flesh golems and the strength for werewolf and 2 guard, but I don't think it's going to be enough against Claw Mighty Blow, because 2 good Skaven killers can definitely carry you with a little bit of luck. And that's a very like that amount of luck is not much. You have a good one here, Carlos Ibs. You should be proud of this Storm Vermin. Even though he needed tackle, he should have taken tackle. So yeah, that's the Underworld versus Necro, and I'm gambling on Underworld, which is not something I do a lot because I think Underworld is budget Skaven, because it is budget Skaven. It's like Skaven but slightly worse. And for the last match, we have Alv versus Human Bear. And as an admin of this division, I'm going to tell you in advance that probably it's not going to be played because Kyako is having a very busy time in work. For the next week, he might be able to play for week 4, but memory serves that he's probably not going to be able to play this week. Going into Major Byte's team, he's definitely happy with getting some time to get cash and rebuild the team. He has a nasty Ulf Werner. I believe this is a new level up from the Mighty Reptile games. Yes. Wait. It's called something. Yes, he got 4 SPP, which is enough to level up. That is the level up on the Ulf Werner. He gets break tackle, and that's a nasty Ulf Werner with strength 5 lodge break tackle. You might feel a little bit annoyed that the Mighty Blow is not something like normal tackle, just because that would make you such a scary cage diver as well. But Mighty Blow lets you level up, so I definitely know why you take it. And it's one of your 2 Mighty Blows on the team. The team now has a Nigel Leap Runner. Actually, no, it's the minus movement, of course. Forgot about that. It's the good old plus minus move. But yeah, like, this team is still in development. They have a very nice Ulf now, level 6. He's definitely a game winner. 2 good runners in the end, but no berserkers and no dirty player really. And you need those for Nose to work. And looking at their technically opponent this week, we have Kyako's team. They didn't really change, they just got their 1 turner back. Like, this team is scary. The minus armor sucks, as we said before, but it's not too bad. And you can definitely recover from that. And I really hope he's going to come back as soon as possible and be able to play more, because he has a nice team. He's a very nice coach. I played him once, very early on in his career, and I drew him. So he's definitely a coach that can pull his own weight, and he has a nice team, so it sucks to see him miss a game or 2. Hopefully he will come back. Looking at the leaderboard right now, we have 5 teams in 200, and that means all of those 5 teams are going to fight for out on each other. The only 2 facing each other this week is Bleeding Hippie and Big Easy TP, which makes that match that was already an interesting bloodfest to an even more interesting bloodfest, because it's affecting the top of the table. But regardless, if this division looks a little bit more on the extreme where you have some people that are just falling behind a little bit too much. It is definitely too early to say, and anything can happen. Like, anyone can go on a 3-4 games losing streak and just drop from the top to the bottom. But like, at least this division has a little bit more of personality, because you know that the 5 coaches at the top, JJ Cash, InfinitePink, Lava Jackal, Bidding Hippie, and Big Easy TP, they have a lead, and that lead is pretty impactful compared to the rest of the division. And there is still only 3 playoff spots this season for Division 2. So even if we know they are going to be the 5 leaders of the division, who is going to take the spot is going to be an interesting one, and it's definitely too early to say. But then again, like, until week 10, it's always too early to say who is gonna win it. So, an interesting division, still a lot of blood and a lot of murder. Hopefully some more. We have seen an important dead werewolf from this division. Not as much blood as Division 1, so step up your game. But that was Division 2, and that's the 3 divisions for this week. We didn't get any interesting report about a match. Someone told me that Skitter Stab stopped the score from Ken or something like that, which was fun to know. But yeah, this is this week recap. The 3 divisions. It's only me, Gerber, here, because Viking Cop was unavailable and InfinitePink died. So F for InfinitePink, and I hope that anyone that enjoyed this, I hope that anyone that watched it enjoyed it, and that anyone that enjoyed it watched it. And I hope that the part where it was solo me wasn't too bad, because I'm pretty sure it's not as good as the first part. But hopefully it's not too bad, yeah. F's for InfinitePink in chat. And yeah, this is the recap. Thanks to anyone that watched. Thanks for InfinitePink for dying live on stream. You will be remembered and hopefully brought back from the dead next week. Hopefully Viking Cop will be able to join us next week as well. And this is Gerber signing out. Thank you for watching.